So this has been the defining moment of our company, the ability to move our manufacturing from China, first to Cambodia, then to India. And we're in the middle of it. I'd like to say that we'll be successful for it. I think we will. We've gotten unprecedented opportunities for growth with new customers, but uh, I guess I should be confident and say we're going to achieve it. But in my dark moments, I wonder, can we achieve it? I mean, we're moving 20 years of supply chain investment, manufacturing, equipment, and knowledge outside of our country where we were safe and happy. Um, it's the defining moment of our careers.
Welcome to Entrepreneurism. I'm your host, Scott Pollock, a seasoned business leader, entrepreneur, and CEO coach with a passion for helping others achieve success in their entrepreneurial journeys. On this show, we dive deep into the world of entrepreneurship, uncovering why so many struggle and revealing what the most successful do differently. True entrepreneurs have unique superpowers, including the ability to spot hidden business opportunities and convert them into thriving ventures. For most mere mortals, this ability is absolutely unfathomable. But these same strengths can become sources of struggle, whether it's pursuing multiple opportunities without losing focus, scaling without eroding culture, or balancing short-term demands with long-term vision. The entrepreneur's journey is full of tensions. Here we explore critical factors that drive entrepreneurial success: how to stay focused, manage resources, build strong teams, and develop the resilience to navigate the ups and downs of the journey. Bold ideas, candid conversations, and insights that will help you unlock your full potential. Ready to learn and grow, expand your toolkit, and discover actionable strategies to help you navigate your own entrepreneurism? Let's dive in. On today's episode, I'm excited to have with me Jacob Rothman. Welcome, Jacob.
Hey, Scott, good to be here.
Great to have you. So over the past 20 years, Jacob has built a significant global business with over 5,000 employees designing, manufacturing, and supplying consumer products for the home. He's the co-founder and co-CEO of Velong Enterprises. This is a global manufacturer with operations in China, Cambodia, and India. The products they manufacture span a full range of grilling, kitchen, garden, and camping, and many more. And they supply retailers such as Walmart, Target, Costco, Aldi, and Tesco. Jacobs also developed a product accelerator, Platform 88, which supports hardware startups and fosters product development innovation. With that, Jacob, perhaps you can talk briefly about how you started your entrepreneurial journey.
Oh, good. Also, I want to congratulate you on the podcast, Scott. I know it's a new thing for you, so I'm excited to be one of your first guests, and congratulations.
Thank you
Um,
very much.
how I started, I got thrown out of school. I think that the dean and I at Bowdoin College didn't see eye to eye on turning in papers, and I'm a 5-year man of that institution, and I got thrown out of school, and my father was not very happy with the idea of getting thrown out of school, and so he gave me a really beat up pickup or station wagon and loaded the back full of brooms, mops, and brushes, which is what my family produced at the time, and told me to get on the road to California, hardware stores in Northern California, and go knock on doors one by one.
Wow. Okay. Well, so you entered the family business, in other words, and you and I
Uh,
are both from California, so I can just picture that. Uh,
y-
and then how did that end up bringing you towards China?
well, at the time, and now I guess it's relevant because of what's going on in the news with President Trump and NAFTA. But at the time, my industry, my family owned a broom, mop, and brush making facility in Stockton, California. And a lot of the brush making and broom making had gone to Mexico and to other parts of the world. And so we were one of the last broom making facilities in the United States. Still a few in the Midwest, but for the most part, that industry has gone out of the United States. Maybe it'll come back now with all these tariffs that are going on, but so that's how I started. The industry was leaving California. We sold our operations to a bigger company, and we started a new venture in China. And so the venture was making at that time what's called gifts and gadgets. So we had a lot more department stores, Pennies and Saks and Macy's and JCPenney and the other one, Kohl's. And during fourth quarter, you would make there's always gifts. This was really it was a big industry before Amazon, and you could just get something for somebody in a minute and send it to wherever you want. But people would go and get gifts for the office and people, and so that's what my family did. And I went to China really on sourcing trips back and forth for them for my family business, and my trips got longer, and it was at the time that China was taking off, and I could feel the change and energy, and that I was watching history, and I wanted to stay and be a part of it.
Cool. Like many of us, the siren's call of opportunity. And tell me, Velong, I know that you and your co-founder, you've been co-leading this business since the beginning, almost 20 years now. How did that come about? Tell us about the early days and building that relationship.
Sure. So part of men's gifts and gadgets are grilling items. Usually, there's always something for the guy, a barbecue fork or digital thermometer or something like that. And Velong was one of my vendors when I was a trading company for my family business. And at the time, the world economy took a couple dips, but more importantly, China got better at what it was doing. So the need for trading companies sitting between factory and the end customer, the need for that got less and less. And trading companies went from being the way you do business, particularly Hong Kong and Taiwanese trading companies, to super factories doing all the things that trading companies could do. And so at the time, Ivan Chen, my business partner, and uh, Velong was a very small factory, and I was a very small trading company, and we were watching the world change. And we said, why don't we put what we can do together under one roof and see if we can make a business together? And that was 21 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And you've obviously come a long way. Talk a little bit about I guess, the tensions that go along with having a partner where you're truly co-leading the business. You talk about being co-CEOs. What are some of the tensions that go into that, and how do you deal with those? And how have you been able to make that work now for, as you said, almost 21 years?
We've made it work well. I mean, I joke frequently that in 21 years, I rarely, if ever, have had a fight with Ivan, whereas I don't think I've gone 21 days without having a fight with my wife, right? And we just, and the title CEO, maybe it's relevant now, but at the time it was just something we put on cards, and neither one of us wanted to be bigger or smaller than the other one. So it was just I think in a traditional company now, especially of our scale, you would have somebody doing the executive or the CEO role, and someone else would be doing the operational role. But we don't really love titles. I think if we had proper titles, my partner would be more in the operations role and I would be more on the other role. But since we put so much weight behind this term CEO as the leader in a company, neither one of us enjoy using the title. So we just, when needed, we call ourselves co-CEO or co-presidents. But there really isn't a better term to describe what we do without the formality. But really, the basis of our relationship is he can do things that I can't do and vice versa. And so whether it's out of need or love or whatever, a shared vision, that's what we do.
Interesting. And so I'm picking up. So you see yourself a little bit more the visionary, him a little bit more the integrator, maybe, to use some terms that also get thrown around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get boxed in by those types of terms, but for the most part, we haven't had arguments, mostly because we see things similarly. It's embracing change and what we do now. Who does what afterwards? Um, Whether it's me talking to customers because it's easier for me because I'm from California and he's doesn't speak English. So whether it's talking to customers or coming up with a shared sort of vision or um, we really do it together. I
Mm.
guess you could say that I lead in that area a little bit more, and operationally, he definitely leads way more than me. But um, yeah, that's how we make it work.
Cool. So you said you haven't had significant fights, which is amazing because I can only relate from the standpoint again of yes, being married, and of course it comes with its with its tensions as well. But what would you say have been the greatest personal struggles then you've had, and how did you conquer those as an
Well,
entrepreneur? That is.
you mean in relationship with Ivan, with my founder?
Yeah, I mean, with Ivan and building this business from, a very small company to now one that has about 5,000 employees, right? So this is a sizable organization.
Yeah, it's really just about humbling myself with Ivan. I think in the beginning, especially in the dynamic that we started in, where I was a customer and he was a vendor, or I'm a foreigner and he's a Chinese, or there's this sort of implied, um, uh, superiority in the role. Like I should, you should listen to me because I'm the customer. You should listen to me because I'm the foreigner. And unfortunately, for a long time in the 20 years that I've been here, that's been China's attitude. We're going to uh, satisfy the foreign customer because or the foreign partner because they know better than us. And as you know, being here for 20 years, that's not gone away. We're equal, and in many cases, lesser than the experience of the people that we work with here. So it's me sort of I think humbling myself and saying, of course, your opinion is equal or better than mine, and getting over that. It did take me a long time to do that, but it's one of the things that I think the dynamic we had to establish in the beginning, which is equality. Your opinion is no less than mine, and I shouldn't be the one that you should listen to. We should listen to reason and logic and numbers and go from there. I think that was probably one of the biggest struggles for me, not being spoiled, selfish, and a bully.
I see.
I'm still learning that in my marriage, by the way.
Not an easy lesson to learn sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, Switch gears a little bit. There's so many tensions, I'm sure along that growth journey that you've been through. I believe in your case that building and expanding and diversifying your manufacturing base has been, a significant both you found the opportunities, but also a significant source of hurdles. And
Yeah, it's the
eh,
over 20 years, Scott, that's only been the last 5 or 6. It's only since
okay.
President Trump's first term in office where he really got the ball rolling in terms of supply chain diversity. And I'm trying to say that as unloaded as way as possible, but let's just say the ball rolling.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. In the last then whatever that is, 5 or so years, talk about how that's stretched you and how that's stretched your organization and how you've dealt with the tensions of growing now, not just a base within China, but extending into Cambodia and India.
Yeah, I would say it's not even stress and tension. It's the defining moment of our company, is the ability to be able to pull this off and how we can do it. And especially in my industry, we're from a small factory town, and most of the average size of factories there are between $3 to $5 million. They're usually family businesses, and for again, for this particular industry, a vast majority of the goods for the kitchen, for the home, are made in this one small town in China. And by hundreds, and quite a few small and mid-sized factories, and they have second generations that probably don't want to do the business anymore. They themselves oftentimes don't speak English, and so they don't want to travel outside of China. And in many cases, they don't have the ability to do so. But because we have gotten to the scale, and because we're have a international ownership, we can do it. So this has been the defining moment of our company, the ability to move our manufacturing from China, first to Cambodia, then to India. And we're in the middle of it. I'd like to say that we'll be successful for it. I think we will. We've gotten unprecedented opportunities for growth with new customers, but uh, I guess I should be confident and say we're going to achieve it. But in my dark moments, I wonder, can we achieve it? I mean, we're moving 20 years of supply chain investment, manufacturing, equipment, and knowledge outside of our country where we were safe and happy. Um, it's the defining moment of our careers.
Talk a little bit more about that. I mean, going from the small town, well, by the way, for listeners that aren't in China, put a number on how big this small town is.
It's a tiny village of 10-ish million people.
Exactly. No, I mean, for people outside of China, the context of small town sometimes is a little bit different, but nonetheless,
There.
the reality still stands that, as you said, that there's a provincial mentality that these are not people who are going and opening up factories in other countries that are abroad from China. And here, you and Ivan are taking the company far astray. And unpack that a little bit in terms of, maybe give us an example of how that really does stretch the fabric of the company.
And I should restate that the population of Yanjiang is around a little north or south of 3 million, not 10 million, but still a small
Yeah,
village.
no, I knew you were exaggerating at 10 million, that there's only a few
Yeah.
cities in China like that, but still 3 million in the US, for instance, would be what, top 5 cities in the country.
True, 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 true. Uh, we opened our first factory in the middle of COVID, where we couldn't travel. We did it by Zoom. We had local people. We had a few Chinese that could travel to Cambodia. So um, we're spoiled here in China. I have a small office, as you know, in Shanghai, and that's where I am mostly. But in our factory town, um, we can pick up the phone and we can get any tool, equipment, die, material, testing procedure, nut, bolt, whatever you need to make whatever you want, we can get within seconds, almost on demand, same day, same morning. But in Cambodia, it's like or other countries, it's like landing on the moon. We don't have that supply chain set up. So, where do we get this? Where do we get this? How do we put it together? And then you're dealing with local customs and traditions, and labor in Cambodia is different than labor in China. They've gone through decades of generational violence. They don't, and please don't get me wrong. I mean, productive workers are productive workers. I don't mean we're standing over them working long hours. Our workers are well loved, well taken care of, well respected. But in Cambodia, the working mentality is just different, and the ability to try things. Not that they're undisciplined or they want to work less, but there are local differences in production rates. And so, if you can make 10 of something in an hour, maybe you'll make 6 or 7. So trying to bring up in Cambodia, trying to bring up the manufacturing skills of another country that hasn't been doing it. It's like, having an NBA team and then training a high school team. It's different.
And how have you guys been dealing with that, and how have you been training them up?
More education, bringing more managers from China, modeling behavior in the factory, and just pushing, encouraging, inspiring, trying to get the factory up to international standards, right? There's, in many respects, if you look at Cambodia's GDP, they're having unprecedented growth right now. It's a good time for Cambodia. So, in a small way, and I say small compared to India, which is, this is really India's moment on the world stage, and especially in terms of manufacturing right now. But it is so for Cambodia as well, and Vietnam and Thailand. The shift from a China-focused supply chain to a global supply chain, and particularly in Southeast Asia, because that's where most of the Chinese factories can go to. Um, there's a sense of new hope and energy in these countries for economic development, and that's exciting.
Mm, absolutely. So, Jacob, what's one business principle that's had the greatest impact on your growth?
Well, I'm hesitant to say business principle
Yeah, I
because
mean, unpack
you're a
that as you like.
consultant and you're a consultant, but you know, I think it's my father's been the biggest mentor for me in my life, and he was always a um, a model of innovation and perseverance. And I think for him, this idea, this man in the arena idea of failing, or woman in the arena of trying and failing, and that being okay, that you really have an entrepreneurial spirit. I had that since the time I was a kid. I used to go around with my father to see accounts that no longer exist anymore in the United States, Ames and Hills and Caldor accounts that exist on the East Coast. But this idea that you try things and you fail and you try again and keep going, I guess it's an early lean startup prototype, but those ideas
Fail
of
fast.
fail fast, yeah. But be in the arena to try things, get beat up, stand up again. That's been the biggest lesson for me.
Cool. I want to do a quick fire round, some entrepreneur hacks, so to speak. Um, one book every entrepreneur should read.
Good strategy, bad strategy is my favorite one right now. I don't typically read business books. We've talked about this before when we meet up, but
Yeah.
I don't typically like business books. I try to read every day, or at least for an hour of something. But my interests from the time I was in college till now are still focused on religious studies, and so I'm just as happy reading a book on Buddhism or Jainism. My partners in India are Jains, and taking deep dives into that. For me, especially in an international business, understanding people's background and especially in a totally different perspective is more important for me. But if I had to choose a business strategy book, good strategy, bad strategy is
Okay. Well, and by the way I asked the question, it's one book entrepreneurs should read. Doesn't have to be a business book, I guess,
no,
right?
I know. Fair enough. Fair enough. I could say, the Torah or something, but still, like, but to be fair, right? I don't find business inspiration necessarily through my outside reading, but that one book for me, it's about looking at the things we say and actually meaning them. And I like the way he cuts through that. You can have a strategy of whatever it is. And you might think that that's a great strategy. It sounds good. It looks good. Even if you wrote it or ChatGPT helped you write it, it sounds like the right thing for a business. But then you kick the tires on it, and there's no steps to actually getting to this empty phrase that you just put out into the universe. And so that's what I like about his book. It's not it's not revolutionary. It's just things that you think that we should all know, and it's a good read.
Right.
I like that.
Okay. Trying to make it more fast moving. What's one thing you do every morning to set yourself up for success?
Exercise. I started during COVID when, so exercise for me just keeps it going.
Yeah. What's a tool or app you can't live without?
Apple Notes. I have this awful tendency of making lists. I'm always making lists. I'm always checking things off. There's certain things I have to do every day to prove to myself I was productive and had a good day. And I would say just Apple Notes.
I like that. Checklists. What daily habit keeps you grounded?
Meditation.
Mm.
I practice Vipassana meditation since I was in college, and I still do that. And it's the humility of just capturing the moment that is important to me.
And what's the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Oh, I think I conflated this one and my father's one. Probably
Yeah,
more like, just keep going. If you get knocked down, get up again. I mean, there's uh, my father also had an intense focus on numbers, knowing your numbers. So um, I guess those are the things that I learned.
like it. So perhaps a last question to close today. Imagine you could do Velong all over again. You could start over and could only bring one lesson from your experience. What lesson would it be?
I think the core DNA of the company is still what it is. It's the relationship between Ivan and myself. It's mutual respect, forgetting about cultures, countries, languages, borders, and that has been, especially as we now have Indian partners and Cambodian partners and an office in Germany, and trying to actually create a balanced environment where everyone respects each other on an equal level. I know it sounds like something we should all do, but actually doing it is quite difficult. Removing um, all the uh, all the other noise between just people working together on the same page. And I think that's probably one of the most important things about Belong. And uh, I would do that again for sure.
So build build that culture.
Build that culture, yeah. And it's become almost now as we transition from chasing down individual customers, or me personally, and more managing a broader company, uh, it gives me hope and inspiration, especially on what's going on in the world right now. We live in such a divisive time, and now with uh, the company that we have 5,000 employees, and they have husbands and wives. So there's 10,000 people, and they have children, maybe 15, 20,000 people. So I wake up every morning thinking, I have this sphere of influence or bubble that I get to, with my partners, make the world a little bit better place. And it's that core DNA that gets us there.
Makes sense. It's the glue that holds everything together.
Yeah,
Jacob, thank you so much.
my
Really
pleasure.
appreciate you joining the show today, giving us just a tiny glimpse into this amazing entrepreneurial journey that you're continuing on. Um, Very excited for you and for Velong with everything that is going on and what I'm sure is yet to come.
Yeah,
Expect
it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. And, I hate using expressions that everyone uses, but I feel like I'm living my best life right now, which is really wonderful.
well. Thank you again, and to my listeners, we've got many more amazing guests lined up. Please subscribe, leave feedback, and share this episode in your feeds. Thanks for listening. Remember, entrepreneurship isn't just about spotting opportunities. It's about taking disciplined action to bring them to life. Hope you'll join again next time as we continue to unpack the complexities of entrepreneurism.